Alright, let's be honest. America's relationship with voting is a bit like its relationship with a well-balanced breakfast. Theoretically, we know it's important, but actually getting around to it can be messy. And by messy, I mean a system riddled with complexities and, frankly, some might say, outdated notions. So I got to thinking, what if we hit the reset button? What if we reimagined the very foundation of who gets a say in how this country runs? Now before you clutch your pearls or frantically search for your I voted sticker, don't worry, we'll get to those. Hear me out. Today we're diving headfirst into a thought experiment, a glimpse into a world where voting rights get a radical makeover. Buckle up, America, because things are about to get interesting. Imagine a world where voting rights are radically reformed. If I were president, here's what my executive order would look like. So, first on our electoral makeover list, anyone under the age of 25? You're out. Look, I get it, you're full of bright ideas, youthful idealism, and probably a concerning amount of avocado toast. But trust me, wisdom comes with age, or at least that's what they tell me, and frankly, I'm starting to see their point. Think about it, at 25 you're still figuring out which way is up, let alone the complexities of foreign policy or tax reform. You're still figuring out how to fold a fitted sheet, for God's sake. We need seasoned voters, people who've lived a little, loved a little, lost a little, and maybe even paid a parking ticket or two. Now, this next one might ruffle some feathers, but bear with me. If you've received any form of government assistance in the past 5 years, you're gonna have to sit this election out. Why? Because self-sufficiency, my friends, is the name of the game. We're talking about fostering a culture of individual responsibility, of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, even if those bootstraps are slightly worn and held together with duct tape and hope. And look, before you unleash the Twitter storm, I'm not saying people on government assistance are lazy or undeserving. What I am saying is that maybe, just maybe, those who haven't relied on the government are in a better position to decide how that government should be run. Now, before you think this is all about exclusion, let's talk about an exception to our little rule book. If you've served in the armed forces, consider the age limit waived. You can vote at 18, fresh out of boot camp, battle-hardened, and ready to defend democracy both on the front lines and at the ballot box. Because let's be honest, if you're old enough to fight for your country, you're damn well old enough to have a say in how it's run. Chapter 4. Earning your vote. The case for a strong work ethic. Now this next reform is near and dear to my heart. If you haven't held down a job for at least 5 years since turning 18, well, you're not voting. This, my friends, is about encouraging a good, old-fashioned work ethic. We're talking about incentivizing people to contribute to society, to understand the value of a hard-earned dollar, and maybe even learn the subtle art of pretending to enjoy team-building exercises. This isn't about punishing those who are struggling, it's about creating a system that values hard work and dedication. And look, before you say it, yes, I realize that system sounds a bit like something out of a dystopian novel, but trust me, it's all for the greater good. Chapter 5. Now I know what you're thinking, Stephen, you're a monster. What about students? They're the future. Calm down, everyone. We haven't forgotten about those bright young minds. If you're a full-time student in good standing, you get a pass. You can vote at the ripe old age of 21. Think of it as a reward for all those late-night study sessions, for deciphering the mysteries of organic chemistry, and for mastering the art of surviving on a diet of ramen noodles and instant coffee. You've earned it. Chapter 6. This next one shouldn't even be controversial, but here we are. In this glorious, reimagined America, only US citizens get to vote. Shocking, I know. But think about it, you wouldn't let someone who's never even seen The Godfather tell you how to order at an Italian restaurant, would you? Voting is a privilege, not a right. And it's a privilege reserved for those who've pledged allegiance to the red, white, and blue. Chapter 7. And finally, we come to the last and perhaps most controversial reform. If you've been convicted of a felony, you're out. Look, I'm all for rehabilitation, second chances, and all that jazz. But the ballot box is sacred. It's where we, the upstanding citizens of this great nation, exercise our democratic right to choose the people who will lead us to a brighter tomorrow. And frankly, I'm not sure someone with a felony conviction quite fits the bill. So there you have it. My radical, some might say insane, vision for the future of voting in America. Now, before you grab your pitchforks and torches, remember, this is just a thought experiment, a way to spark a conversation about who we are as a nation and what we value. Do we believe in universal suffrage, even if it means letting 22-year-olds who think fiscal responsibility is just a fancy term for balancing a checkbook have a say in our future? Or do we think it's time for a more, shall we say, discerning electorate? What do you think of these radical voting reforms? Would they make for a better democracy or create more problems? Let us know in the comments below.